Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the second quarterly update in a series of 4 quarterly updates during 2025 whilst I'm rebuilding my baseboards and getting ready to start in 2026 on the new Woodford Vale layout. Where are we to in quarter 2? Well, as you can see, the new frameworks are crudely done. It was sort of done in a hurry over a long bank holiday weekend, so I could actually get going and do bits and pieces as well. But they aren't level, so I've got a week off. What I'm going to try and do in amongst prom runs in the car is get these level, get them ready for purchasing the new Fiddleyard baseboards, and then basically going forward from that, I've already started, but I will continue to making these templates. As you can see there, I've already started 2 there for the Fiddleyard sidings. This one here is for the station, which will go here. It will sort of finish about here. Then when you come round here, it will all go into open country again before it goes back into the Fiddleyard through a series of tunnel mouths over there. So, what's been going on as well as making these boards? Well, one thing I mentioned possibly in either the previous Woodford Vale update or the previous quarter update, I'm changing how I do my rolling stock. Rather than just relying on ready to run, such as these little bits here, I'm doing a lot more kit building. It started off with that grain wagon. It's very crudely built. I'll probably buy another couple to replace that one in particular. But, you know, this Parkside van you've seen previously, that's a plastic kit of a van. And it was very fun and quite therapeutic to do it. This here is a Jindenko kit of an ex-Great Western cattle wagon. That was brass. That was slightly more tricky, but it was quite a fun little challenge. This here is a Bachmann low fit, one plank low fit wagon. What I've done to it is simply re-gauge the wheels to 14.8, which is my standard on the layout, and I've added some little brake hoses from my scrap pile. Essentially, if it's an express fitted wagon or express freight wagon, it needs some form of representation for the brake hoses. I'm not that much of a rivet counter. I wouldn't class myself as one. I just like to try and do things authentically. But if it's little details like that you aren't really going to see, I tend not to worry about them too much. Like this one here and this one here, the kits didn't come with brake hoses, so I made them out of wire. So I've just fitted some brake lines really to that, so they're represented. This siphon here, or I think it's a siphon or it's a bogie fish van, I'm genuinely not sure. So if you know, please let me know. I'm pretty sure it's sat upon the wrong bogies. I think these are actually LMS bogies, not Great Western. But to be honest, it looks representative of what it's going to do. It will be used with an Arctic set or some suburban stock, so maybe having a bit more of a firmer bogie for it will be a bit more represented for the fast traffic that it's going to represent. But I'm hoping to pair it with about 5 or 6 silver milk tankers, maybe have like 3 or 4 in front and have some trailing on behind sort of thing. This was basically a kit built, must be a ratio kit body, with the soul bars on the body sides, but the floor and the bogies were all scratch built. The bogies were white metal kit bogies, but the floor of the wagon was scratch built, so I could chuck it all back together. So yeah, going on from there, what else has been happening? Well, not a lot really. I've been planning my Fiddleyard. If we come over here and have a look, this will essentially be the Fiddleyard, and this side here is the station side. So the plan for the Fiddleyard is, much as the old Woodford Vale, to have one big siding round the back, which will then have another couple of loops on the inside of it. This will be for the up slow. And the up slow line, basically I'll have, if I get my pen out here, and just as you can't get the lid off, there you go. So basically these sidings here will sort of be split like that. So you'll have train number 1 on this side and train 2 on this side. This little third line here, if I run at that, that'll literally just be a through line. So if, for instance, I simply just wish to set a train off and have it run around, I can do. Down here on the up slow, it actually has 4 separate sidings for the train, because these sidings will only really just be long enough for an A2 with 2 pairs of articulated coaches or 4 suburban coaches. It won't be long enough to really allow what I wanted to do up here, which is split the sidings. I might be able to do it if I was to put 2 curve points in, which is still a question mark. I still might do that. Maybe put 2 curve points in or something and do 2 long sidings with a run pass loop. That's still up in the air. The up slow, the up fast, sorry, is pretty much a similar thing. It's a bypass loop with 3 sidings with 2 sets of isometric points, and I'll probably copy this idea again for the up fast. Those sidings though will only be long enough for an engine and 5 Mark 1s. So I might look into it a little bit more to see if I can change it here and there to make it so I can get 6 Mark 1s in an engine. Because that way then, I would like my expresses to be more 6 coaches long, or have the ability to double head, stroke pilot and express if I need to. Round the back here, I think this is going to be much similar case as the old Woodford Vale layout. Where and both lines here, up and slow, up fast and down fast, they'll both have a bypass loop as well. So if I want to just let the trains run, I can. This one will be much like the old Woodford Vale, I think. It'll be quite happy having 3 loops, big enough to take an engine and 6 coaches. And it'll be 3 loops. For these slow lines, I would like to have freight train lengths of about 10 short wheelbase wagons plus a guards van. So that'd be about 4 bogie wagons, 4 or 5 bogie wagons and a guards van. I don't think they need to be much longer than that really on slow lines. I think the nature of the up slow, the trains can be longer, and most people that know their railway terms, if a train is referred to as going up, it's heading towards the capital. So in the UK, that would be London. And I think if you were in separate areas like Scotland, up would be towards Edinburgh, and I believe it's Cardiff in Wales is the capital city of, so it'll be up. But 9 times out of 10, if it's a long through express, the up direction is generally towards London. So on the northeast region, ironically, up is actually down the country. So whereas on the western region where I live in Somerset, up would be going up the country as it normally would. And it's the same on the LMS, LNER, Southern and the Great Western. Up was always towards the capital. So, that being said, in the up direction, a lot of the slow pickup goods trains and whatever, they would generally be longer as they're heading towards the capital. So, with the nature of these sidings being the way they are, I could probably, in all fairness, have 12 to 13 in a short goods train, whereas going away from the capital in the down direction, the trains would be smaller because they'll build up in length as they go up towards their final destinations. A lot of the short pickup goods here would be heading towards Peterborough or heading towards Grantham anyway, so some of them might just be empty stock moves going to Peterborough or Grantham for remarshalling, going on to further distances like York or heading into Cambridgeshire or whatever. So it'll be quite interesting to see how it all pans out. But as you can see here, I'm planning quite a lot. One problem I had with the previous Woodford Vale layout is it got very, very cluttered. It got very cluttered. Pair that with a younger version of me who was collecting trains all the way up and collecting locomotives and bits and pieces. So I had about 5, 6, 7 Southern locomotives, 5 or 6 Midland, predominantly LNER, but all over the LNER. So I had engines from the Great Eastern section, the North Eastern section, Scottish section, Great Northern, Great Central, and then trying to shoehorn all of them onto a Great Central theme layout, it didn't quite work. Whereas on this Great Northern themed layout, most of the stock I've got I can justify being there. The biggest odd one out at the minute is the Merchant Navy. And the Merchant Navy, for 2 reasons, is a bit of an odd one out. The biggest one being is that it's a rebuilt Merchant Navy. Now, the rebuilds didn't start until 1956, which is the tail end of when I'm modelling. So I might need a unrebuilt Merchant Navy, but again, it was one of my favourite engines on the previous layout, so I didn't want to let that particular engine go. So I'll probably just stick with a little bit of Rule 1 there and run it when I want to run it. Again, another outlier, even though it's an LNER engine. My model of Flying Scotsman is as she was in 1963. German smoke deflectors, the lot. So, yeah, that's going to be quite an interesting little one. But again, I think what I'll probably do is have days where I will run whatever the hell I want to run and just enjoy the trains going by. I think that's the only way it's really going to go down. For instance, my rake of Mark 1s, my 5 Mark 1s, they're in maroon. And again, it was around 56 to 58 and 57 that the maroon started to come through. So a lot of my trains here will have to be pre-war stock, like Thompson coach, or post-war and pre-war stock, like Thompson's, Gresleys. I might even endeavour to get a few of the 3D printed Barham kits to add some variety in there, as well as a few bits of LMS pre-war stock, like the P1, P2, P3 coaches, maybe even a couple of portholes, just a little bit of something different. I've definitely got a Midland Interloper in the form of an 8F. That one I can quite heavily justify getting over to these sort of areas. The 8Fs were pretty common for a period of time. They were on the LNER's books as the Class 06. So that's how I'm going to justify the 8F. The only thing I've got to do to the 8F is probably backdate it. So what I was thinking was probably just having days where I run whatever the hell I want to run. But the main period I'm modelling is 48 to 56. So a lot of the cycling lines in cream British Railways on the tender. So my plan after getting this video up for you guys is to continue clearing all of this off, clearing out underneath, start dismantling this side, get it all on, get it all level, and then rebuild it all back up. Once it's all done there, we'll be going forward with getting all of this side redone, getting all this stock packed away so it don't get damaged, etc. And then we will get going with properly tidying everything up underneath and actually really getting going on planning and building the new layout. which will be a fantastic achievement for myself. So hopefully the next one, this is June, hopefully the next one will be out to you guys by September. In September, what I am hoping for you guys to have seen is the new tops on, all of my paper plans done, and hopefully we would have started work on the track beds over here. Then once these track beds are done, it'll be a case of, for the scenic side, I will glue my templates down, and then once the templates are down and the foam track bed installed on them, it'll be a case then of getting some cans of Rail Match Sleeper Grime and whatever, or browns, and just spray painting the whole lot brown, or painting it all brown. But the only bits that won't be painted brown are the bits here for the station, because I'll still need the station plans. So, but yeah, it's slowly coming on. So for now, I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for your patience and your continued support with the layout. I just had a look at the channel the other day, couldn't believe it that we surpassed 300 subscribers. It's a bit of a funny one, really. So thank you all very much for that. Happy modelling, and I hope you're all having a great summer period. And I shall see you all in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.